So, I'm not a braider. I repeat, I'm not a braider. But I'm trying knotless braids out in my hair. I did use to braid when I was, just getting started out with doing hair. But I have retired, so don't ask. But I'm using three colors. Mostly, I'm using these two in the back of my head. And then towards the front, I'll add this as a highlight. I'm real excited. I have never done knotless braids. So, y'all watch and let's see how this goes.
Okay, so the first half of my video I just sped up. I was watching Netflix doing my hair. So I waited until I got to the end so I could show y'all exactly the technique that I used through my whole head. But as y'all can see, I started at the daytime. Y'all can see by the window it's getting dark. So this probably took me about, I would say, 4.5 hours to do. The hardest part was kind of like getting the partings right. So when you see me stand up, I'm going to look at the mirror to check my part. But basically, I did all the box braids, blended the hairs together. But I'm about to show you guys an up close of what exactly got done. So I used a shea butter moisturizer on my ends before I braided any section, because you want your hair to be moisturized and detangled, and you don't want to have any fight when you are going to braid your hair. So I use my sweet butter moisturizer, and then on my edges I use my Sleek and Smooth pomade. So I use that on the edges and at the root of the hair just to make sure that it laid flat and it glided smoothly with the hair, so there weren't any like separations between my natural hair and the braiding hair. So once I add the edge control or the pomade at my roots, I brush that together with the butter, and when I brush those together, you can see how like soft and pliable my hair looks. I just double check my parts and I get my braiding hair together. I used thicker sections of hair, of course, because I'm doing thicker braids. But if you were doing smaller braids, of course, you would change your amount of hair to how much or how thick you want your braids to look. So there's no way to really explain the amount that I used besides the fact that it was consistent every braid. So my braids looked consistent in the end. So now I'm going to show y'all how I braided. So I started with like a plait with 3 strands. And once I got my 3 strands in my finger, I pinched the middle one, or pinched the left one with my middle finger and added a strand of hair. And then once I added it, I turned it twice to lock in the plait, and I added another strand using my pointer finger and grabbing it from the far left strand, and I turn it twice to lock in the braid. Again, I'm using my pointer finger to grab the strand that's on the far left side, and then I latch and turn it in to secure the plait. So I did this process about 3 times until the density felt most like my natural hair. And then I just continued to braid down, making sure my fingers detangled through any knots in the hair. You'll see my hands getting caught up over there. It's always good to get your finger through those tangles instead of letting them build up, because if they build up, you'll have a huge knot of hair at the end, and that's so annoying trying to get it loose. So once you get that braid pattern going, you just keep moving. And then towards the end where my hair connects or my hair ends, I want to add some more of that pomade to connect my hair to the braiding hair. So you can kind of see the thickness of that pomade right there. I just added it just so there wouldn't be any separation between my hair and the braiding hair, because my hair is definitely a totally different texture than this braiding hair. This was pre-stretched hair that was pretty smooth, and my hair is pretty kinky, so I had to do what needed to be done to lay those together, and then just kept that braiding style going, keeping the same amount of tension as I go down, and just braiding and braiding and braiding and watching Netflix and braiding. I can't even tell you what I was watching. I really don't know. Actually, I do know. It was like this movie about people, I think they were Indian people who were dating. But anywho, let's get back to my hair. So I used some more of that Edge Sleek and Smooth pomade for my edges just to kind of lay it down smoothly and rub that in to make sure it's just going to lay flat and look seamless. And then I go through and brush it together with my Sweet Butter Moisturizer. You can see how moist and juicy my ends are. You see how that slip. Once that's all brushed together, I'm just making sure my little baby hairs aren't in the braid, because I don't want to have to worry about those getting ripped, because they're already soft and sensitive. So I start the braid with 3 plaits, so more so 3 strands to make a plait. And once I have those 3 strands together, I go ahead and add my braiding hair. So I'm kind of getting that braiding hair together. It was not trying to hold tight. So as you can see, I'm going to show you again. I create 3 strands and turn them to make a plait. And then I use my pointer finger to add the braiding hair in. And I'm leaving that middle section strand out, but then I'm turning it to the left where I grabbed the hair that I added. So I'm pulling through the knots. I actually have a little bit of hair from my section that I just added that's poking out with my natural hair. Don't worry about it. It's still the same process. I'm grabbing an extra piece and I'm using my pointer finger to grab it with the strand that's on the far left. And then I'm turning it twice to lock in the braid. Every time you do this, you're going to add the braiding hair from the left hand side with your pointer finger, just to make sure it's really gripped in that middle strand, and then you turn. When we're grabbing it from the left, we're adding it to the middle strand. We're turning it around the middle strand. But definitely feel free to rewind it and, run it slow so you can see it. But basically the process is you're doing your plait and then adding the hair from the left hand strand and folding it under the middle strand. That's the process. And then I keep going down with the braid, keeping that process going consistently, braiding down, getting through those tangles, because the last thing we want to have to worry about is trying to get a knot out at the bottom. I added more gel as I continued to braid down just to hold my natural hair in with the braiding hair. And then we just keep the braiding process going. I did these braids for New Orleans, and I'm very happy that I did them because I had never did knotless braids, and these were definitely a good look. I love the pop of blonde in the front. Feel free to play with whatever colors you like, but me, I like a little bright, something that's unique. But here we go. We're done. These are my box braids. I had to frame it so you could see it. And yeah, I'm really happy with the end result. They were very lightweight. They were thick, but not too thick. And I love the color. I think it pretty much matched my hair color pretty well. Had to get 3 colors to do it, but here's the end result. That is it after I braided it. And then this is after I rotted the ends in New Orleans, and y'all can see it was giving a whole vibe. So if you like this video, make sure you share it, subscribe, and I'm gonna post a video on how I rotted these ends. If you're interested, make sure you're subscribed, and thanks for watching.